Many years ago, I was on an interview show, and the host asked, "What have been your greatest challenges in your life?" Well, I didn't know beforehand what he was going to ask me, so I did not have an answer prepared. Hi, I'm Deborah Poneman, founder of Yes to Success, where we offer knowledge and tools for you to live your ultimate life. So, when the host asked me that question, I didn't want to appear like Miss Philippines. And remember her in the Miss Universe contest who said she never had made a mistake in her life? Because I have made a lot of them. But I have had an amazingly blessed life. I had loving, supportive parents, not wealthy, but we had a very comfortable and I had a very happy childhood. I had a brother who we have a mutual admiration society, great health, many friends. I've had two husbands, not at the same time, but both from heaven, handsome, loving, kind, divorced from both because the marriage part of our friendship was over, but I still love and adore them both. They're both remarried to fabulous women. So anyway, that's that. Back to me. I have a son and a daughter who I am constantly in awe of. I have a career that I love, spiritual practices that have brought me great fulfillment. But upon thinking about it, or in the case of the interview, not having time to think about it, I said, no matter how much I do or accomplish, or how much I have, or how much I give, I feel it's never enough. Can you relate? So what is that all about? Well, according to my friend Shelley Lefko, who is the co-founder along with her husband of the Lefko Institute, that's Lefkoe, Lefko Institute, who helps people get rid of deeply rooted beliefs. She says that she has never had a client that didn't have the belief, I'm not enough. And she's been doing this work for almost 40 years. So in my case, for example, I never felt like I was a good daughter, although, except during my teenage years, I was so close to my mom and dad, who are both now deceased. And my mom would constantly tell me how blessed she felt to have a daughter like me. She didn't know what she did to deserve someone like me. My dad always used to tell me I was so beautiful that I should have been a movie star. He would say, don't go to Hollywood because you'll never come back. Anyway, for the last couple of months of my mom's life, I moved in with her and we sat together watching Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune and Do You Want to Be a Millionaire? She loved the shows that kept her mind sharp. And I'd take her for rides or to appointments. Sometimes we'd have a picnic. And after she died, the majority of the time, all I did was think about how much more I could have done for her. I call it the speaker syndrome, which I have. I get a 2-minute standing ovation at the end of a talk, and then someone comes up and says that I attributed a quote to the wrong person. And all I can think about was how dumb I was to attribute that quote to the wrong person. Okay, right? I mean, what is going on here? What kind of brain wiring is this? And how do you overcome it? Okay, so I'm going to share some tools and techniques to get you going, because these have gotten me going in my life, from really thinking that I wasn't enough to kind of thinking that I'm not enough, but not nearly the way it used to be. Okay. So first of all, when you have that sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach, or that tightness in your throat or heart, when something happens and you feel contracted, like, and contracted at best, I would say, and like someone kicked you in the gut at worst. Well, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And you also probably know that it's not what's happening to you, but how do I say this? It's not what's happening to you, but really what you're hitting up against are old beliefs, okay? What causes you pain is that thing happened and it hits up against some beliefs that you have about yourself from the past. And what causes your pain is not what's happening, but it's actually how you react to what's happening. So the first recommendation that I have for long-term inner fullness and feeling like you're enough is have a meditation practice and have one that's been scientifically proven to release that stress and to release those old impressions in your mind and your body that have been accumulating for weeks and months. Well, actually, they've been accumulating for your whole lifetime. And yet there are meditations that do release those deep rooted, they call them in Sanskrit, samskaras, impressions, okay? And meditations that at the same time create growing inner silence and peace. And I would say it's not necessarily a technique that you learn down the street at the YMCA, but I would recommend more a technique that's from an ancient tradition that's been passed down for thousands and thousands of years, a technique that has withstood the test of time, and one that's also taught by a qualified teacher. The two that I find are best, one is the TM technique, and the other is Sahaj Samadhi meditation. I know it's kind of a crazy name, but it's taught through the Art of Living Foundation. I actually taught TM pretty much full time for 22 years, and now I have taught through the Art of Living for the last 28. So trying to be content on the outside without that deep silence on the inside that meditation creates, it's really like trying to build a building without a foundation. And then you wonder why the building can't stand. Okay, it just crumbles. So we need that foundation of inner silence that meditation brings. Okay, but in the moment when you have that contracting feeling or contracted feeling, the first thing to do is breathe. Breathe directly into where you feel the contraction, if it's in your throat, if it's in your heart, if it's in your gut, okay? And believe it or not, I'm also going to say to you, give thanks for it. Thank you for this contraction, because you know it's there to tell you something. You could even tell it that you love it. And then after you breathe and after you say, thank you, I say thank you to the God of my understanding. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Breathing into it. And then ask what the message is. Okay. And I'll tell you a story. I actually told this in a class I was teaching the other night. One time I did this when I felt contracted. I was at my former husband's house for Thanksgiving. The whole family was there, 2 kids and his brother and sister-in-law and sister and brother-in-law, all of whom I'm still very, very close with, and his wife. And anyway, so we were all together, one big happy family. And I'm sitting on the couch in the living room, and I look over at these lamps. And they were lamps that were in our home when we were together. And I loved those lamps. As a matter of fact, I scoured the city of Chicago for those lamps. They were like one of a kind, well, 2 of a kind. And I was sitting in the living room and I'm thinking, I want those lamps. Why did he get those lamps? Now, when we split up, we did fight over things, but the fight went like this. Oh, you take it. You liked it more. No, you take it. You liked it more. So I convinced him to take the lamps because he loved them also. Now I'm sitting there thinking how beautiful those lamps would look in the current home that I was living in. And when I felt the contraction, I did this technique. I breathed into the contraction. I said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I blessed the contraction. And then I asked what it was trying to tell me. And it was really clear. It came to me that I don't think that I had ever told my husband how much I appreciated the incredibly affluent lifestyle that he had provided for us and for the children. I don't know if I ever really sat him down and said how lucky we were and how lucky I was to have him as a partner, somebody who had such a successful business and really gave us such beautiful homes and beautiful things and the wherewithal to buy beautiful lamps. So I decided I was going to do that. So I found him in the house and I went over to him and I told him that I don't know if I ever thanked him, and how incredible it was living my adult life and in such comfortable circumstances. And while I was at it, I told him what an incredible father he was and still was to our children. Well, of course, he got all teary, and it was really a precious connecting. And it all came from, instead of like the contraction over, I want those lamps, to why am I really feeling that contraction? Okay. So, and first of all, we know that everything is a gift. As Byron Katie, author of Loving What Is, says, nothing is done to me. It's always for me. So those lamps going to him, that wasn't like, it's always for me. It's always a gift. Life is a gift once we understand it. So if something is happening and I'm feeling inadequate or not enough or contracted, again, I say thank you. And I understand that it's always a gift. And I want to take this one step further, because this is what I do and I remember too. I do the Ho'oponopono. I know I've talked about this in these Success Saturdays before, but for those of you who are new and don't know what the Ho'oponopono is, it's an ancient Hawaiian kahuna practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. Okay. And basically what you do is you just say, again, when you feel that contraction about yourself, about somebody else, 4 phrases. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. You just repeat them over and over. And what it does, it diminishes the pain. And what happens is that when you use this technique, a sense of peace comes over you. Okay. And when you start using it on a regular basis, you find that your needs become kind of easier to fulfill, and you're directed to what is perfect for your life. I don't know how it works, but it does. And all it is saying silently, I love you, I'm sorry, or I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And it doesn't matter what order you do it in. Whatever order is fine with the creator. And there's always the option, again, of doing work with somebody like Shelley Lefko, the Lefko of the Lefko Institute, or things like tapping or theta healing or ancestral work with John Newton. And if you have any suggestions of what's worked for you to feel like you're enough or to get rid of that contraction, share it in the comments below, okay? But for now, give these tips a try, at least as a starting point. And maybe I'll share some more of these tips in the coming weeks. And I wanted to add, if you would like to be on my mailing list and receive a copy of my free ebook, 5 Secrets to a Life of True and Lasting Success, just go to yestosuccess.com, YESTO success.com, and request your free ebook. And I will be happy to send it to you. It's a wonderful ebook. It has lots of photos, family photos, and lots of knowledge to have a glorious life. So that's it for today. I send you my love, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.